Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm doing great this morning. I'm glad to be here, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
I am too. I am so excited. So for everyone out there in YouTube land, those who will be watching the replay, we have a special guest here today. We have Mr. Lance Scruv, who I have been following myself for quite some time. Um, and of course myself, Lizzabitty. So for all of those who are catching the replay, be sure to like the video. So today's topic that I sent you the request about is for the race for Africa. And I'm sure that you watch the news outlet in India, WION, and they did a 7-minute conversation about why all of these nations are pretty much um, pilfering Mother Alkebulan. And so I wanted to have a discussion about that as well, because
Yes.
also Ty Mega, who is actually going to be repatriating to the Gambia, he
Mhm.
recently did a video about that as well. So that is
Mhm.
pretty much what the topic is going to be today. And so I will go ahead and we can get started here. So why don't you give us
Yes.
a brief synopsis about yourself, and then we'll jump right into it.
Okay. I'm a 20-year veteran of social media. I guess you would call me a social media influencer. I'm an illustrator. Many people who just have run into my content don't know that because that's what got me online. I also blog. I do talk shows. I do live streams. We talk on the topics that many people don't want to touch. And it's all about us. It's all about the melanated man and woman in the world to address the things that CNN and BBC, they're not as bad, but they're not going to do it like we do it. We shoot from the hip. We're raw. We're uncut. We have those conversations that most people are afraid to have publicly when in the presence of others. We're bold. We're strong. We don't hold back. We don't bite our tongue. And I allow people on the platform to come on and speak their mind, whether I agree with it or not, but it's always going to be about us.
Awesome. Awesome. I like that. I like that. And so where tell our audience where you are residing currently.
Currently and forevermore, I'm in Accra, Ghana. We came to Accra last year on a trip, and the trip wasn't just a trip to just take pictures of the pretty mangoes and the melons and the mountains and everything. We planned from back then to relocate, and once here, we're going to check out other countries. We're going to be here to motivate and inform others in the diaspora about the beauty, about the richness of this place that is our home. And even if you don't claim it to be your home, and many people say that they're not African and they're not this and they're not that, this is the cradle of civilization. So we all have a connection to it, and we must have a relationship with it. The funny thing about it is, this is the food bowl of the world. This is the richest place, but because of propaganda, many of us who are melanated are sitting back and saying that we have no connection to Africa. You know, Africa is a continent, Alkebulan, 54 countries. Boundaries are man-made. Our vibration is not held into a box that man has put many people in. We have got to stop thinking like this. We've got to unify with each other. When we're not unified and we don't have a relationship with our motherland, someone else will come here and do that. And this is the richest place, location on the entire planet. And everybody else wants to get in on it, but they don't want you who belong here and need a connection to be connected. Again, if you don't live here and don't want to live here and you're melanated, at least have a relationship. There are many Chinese who never saw China, who were born in America, the UK, South America, but they have a relationship and they understand who they are and their positioning in the world and what must be done for their people. We're the only people who worship a God that doesn't look like us. We're the only people who are seeking approval from others before we move forward to do anything that we need to do for ourselves. It seems like to do for ourselves or do for self, it's something that's a crime. We want to adhere ourselves on to everybody else. Listen, if we get ourselves together and get our act together, sure, we can do business with the world, but not in a subservient position. The residents of Africa do not know what they have. The politicians have been sold out. They prostitute the people and they sell out for the baubles and the rubies and the trinkets that they think that they want. They want to send their kids to school in the UK and the United States, not knowing what they really have. And that's okay with the oppressor and the one who has colonized Africa. And we got to beat down the ignorance. It took time for it to get this way. It's going to take time for us to come out of it. We've got to do what we've got to do with the effects of this thing called religion. I'm not knocking anybody's personal situation or their belief system, but what is practical? The religion has been given to us first to paralyze us and to see a different reality and to look up to the heavens and wait for someone to come and do for us what we're equipped to do. But everybody else doesn't do that. They act like they do sometimes, but they're steady looking around them to see how they can better themselves. They're self-generating, self-motivating. But we sit down and we wait for this man to bust through the sky, and we look at the politicians and we're just falling behind more and more. But there's so many of us in a new generation coming up that we don't even have to focus on those who are in my age group. Fine, if you want to come along. I'm 57 and a half years old. There are others who are 20 years younger who are still brainwashed. But if we can get to the youth for a righteous cause so that they can be self-sustaining in the future and not be dependent on anyone else, the youth of other races and cultures, they surely teach them how to maintain a position of superiority and to make sure that someone else is kept subservient. So when you do look to the sky and you are into Christianity that has been given to us, and many people are not going to like me for saying that. I came up out of it from young, but I always knew other things because my parents didn't just keep me in something, and I took it as normalcy because that's what was there. That's what we did. That's the way it was. Question everything. If what you are into keeps you in a position of being subservient, if what you are into keeps you year to year not progressing but even regressing or even staying in the same position, it's not good for you. You must get rid of it. We march, we protest. The people that we march and protest, they don't care about us. Marching and protesting is a waste of time. Start what little business that you can start. I am so happy to be here in Accra. And yes, there is corruption here. Yes, we do see the darker sides of human nature here. But I also see, and this is what I want people to see. There are many people who have been upset with me when I take my camera. I have several cameras and one GoPro. And when I take the GoPro out in the street and just let it roll and let people see what life is like here. That we have so many melanated people here down at the Medina market, and they're all shopping or all selling, but I don't see one fight. I don't see anybody disagreeing. Two competitors can be selling the same mangoes or melons or just whatever products that are there. But if one falls short or one drops their money, the other one will pick it up and hand it to them in their hand. Yes. I see vans here driving up and down and competing to get to the next place or competing to get to that one passenger that's on the road. But if the other guy breaks down and has a flat tire, that other one who is competing against him will get out and help him. They don't want that image put out all over the world. I could run like this all day. Well, please guide me.
We can get into all of that, but I totally understand what you're saying. I lived on the continent many, many moons ago. And of course, I got off my square, but I'm back on my square.
It's okay. It's in your heart. It's in your heart. It's in your heart and your mind.
Exactly. And it has always been there. But what I'm seeing now, which the news video brought about, it seems to be a resurgence. I'm not saying that the colonizers ever left the continent in terms of trying to pilfer its resources. That's not what I'm saying. But now it seems more aggressive than ever because you have Japan, you have Canada, you have the US, you have China, you have Korea, and so you have the European Union. it just seems like all of a sudden there is more of an influx, even since they had the Berlin conference.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, what is the spike in that? And also, Lance, if you look, China is getting into all of the mining on the entire continent. All of the mining. This is epic.
Well, he who controls the infrastructure and the major industries thereof controls the whole country. And when we look at it, how can they survive without Africa? If you were to remove Africa from the face of the earth, the whole earth would dry up. And they understand that these various countries understand that they have limited resources, and they think in the future. And many of us don't think so far in the future. Many of us, sadly, only think up to the weekend or the next paycheck or whatever hedonistic endeavor that we can get into. Many of us, and I blame us, because if there was no space for them to come into a country that is primarily melanated, they couldn't get here. So I know they're going to do what they're going to do. I know Korea is going to do what it has to do. China is going to do what it has to do. Japan is going to do what it has to do. The UK, United States, over in Saudi and over in the other Asian countries, South America, whatever. They're going to get in all you can eat. The grab bag, you can, as much as you can grab for the next 10 minutes, get it. It's survival. But we are sitting here in the hub, right at the base, and we're looking up at the sky and not doing anything. And I am pointing fingers because I am melanated. Some would say black, some would say melanated, some would say stolen African. I understand that. We have so many issues with the names that we call ourselves. Every 10 years is something else, but we are who we are, and we have a vibration that can never be quelled.
But all that's a construct. Calling us different names in that regard is a construct of Western societies. That is not a construct of natives, of our ancestors on the continent. That's a Western thing.
It is.
You know this.
It is. And we shouldn't accept that. We shouldn't accept that. But all I'm saying is that they're going to do what they have to do. Let us do what we must do and occupy, have that relationship, and come on back home. Why complain about life in America? Yes, we built that country. Yeah. But what about our country? What about our continent? Let's go back and build that. The energy that you can spend marching and protesting and begging and thinking that vote in a twisted system that was never made to be beneficial to you will be good. You're wasting your life. This is 2020. Why are so many of us still singing in our hearts, "We shall overcome"? Why are so many of us looking at or toward those paid agents in America called Al Sharpton and Reverend Jesse Jackson, who walked around with a bloody shirt after Martin Luther King got shot? That should have told you what he was about back then. Why are we looking to these people? Why can't we have a leaderless movement with one mind? Just like that worm that you would cut up and it's in two pieces, but they still move. There should be no head that can be cut off and kill a movement. We should all have the same mentality.
I agree with you that, yes, we should definitely return home. But the contention, as you know, all of us are not going to do that. And then in that, we don't want certain people to come back and do the same things that are being done.
Right.
Basically repeating history vis-a-vis our own.
Yes.
That is a problem for us. So we need to be strategic, as you know, about that.
Right.
I'm saying, since everyone outside of blacks, melanated people, we need to be the ones forging all of this new development. Yes. I mean, you see for yourself, you have China putting all of these military bases on the continent, basically trying to follow up behind the U.S., okay? Doing that. So when you talk about that, there's that. And then you mentioned infrastructure. So yes, infrastructure, geology of the land, all of the natural resources, investment. There's investment there, but I think that we are not seeing it because we're too busy looking at the shiny things, if you will. Because like you said, we built the United States. We made it shiny. So sure, we can make Alkebulan shiny.
But we don't think so. We don't think so. We've made America shiny, but we bestow the presence of the shiny on somebody else. You see, and so you've got to change our mind. And what you said was on point and exact. We don't want certain people to come over here. Do not bring that subservient European mindset because you're just as bad as them. You've become their agents if you cannot sacrifice. And there's nothing here that we can't find anywhere else. That's the funny part about it. Everything is here. We need to bring our knowledge and our expertise and our talents and abilities here, because others are injecting themselves strategically here and getting a foothold before many of us who know what's going on. So there are many people, and I'm from America. I was born there, but it doesn't mean that I am that. What did Malcolm X said? If a kid is born in an oven, it doesn't make it a biscuit, something like that. Right? Exactly. So I'm an African via Jamaica, born first generation in America, taught from young what the real deal was, never believed the propaganda, and have always been a troublemaker all my life. But it's a freedom fight.
What's interesting you say about this. So what you just said is very important. You were taught very young about who and what you really were. A lot of us have not had that guidance. And so even to this day, you have people in your age group, my age group, they are still on the freaking lie train. That's what it is. You've been lied to.
Right. The lie train. Seriously. And it's sad, but many of them are going to have to expire. You know, I did a video yesterday on my channel, and I basically said, it's a time of separation from the energies that are not bringing anything to your life. We have to treat ourselves like businesses. We are a business. We have limited resources. We have goals. We have interests. And if someone is coming into your life, not just on a personal level, but on a building collectively level, where we say we're going to build this continent, we're going to build the countries in this continent, it has to be about us. Many people are afraid to say us, whether you say melanated, whether you say stolen African or whatever. It's about us first. It's triage right now. And many people don't understand what that means. If you have a situation where there was an explosion in a house and the ambulance, the EMT, emergency medical team, shows up, and there are 3 people there that need help, and one, the beam hit his head and crushed his head, and you see part of his brains coming out, but he's still making some movement. You see another one with a wooden stake in his leg, and he's screaming out, please take this stake out of my leg. And you see another one that from the shock of it all, he's having a heart attack. Who do we go to first? Somebody has to be first. It's that person who is having the heart attack, because you can reverse that situation. The person with the big piece of wood driven through their leg, they'll live. You're just going to have to wait a little longer. We'll pull it out. But the person with the brains that are splattered out, he's already gone. So how do we measure what's priority when you have people who have no priorities or don't know what priority is to sustain their life and their subsequent generations down the line? We should be thinking 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 generations, but we don't, because our mind is plugged up to the one who doesn't want us to wake up. So those who are older or those who are younger, who refuse to open up and see reality for what it is when you logically break it down. We're not saying you have to change your life immensely where, you know, you're going out to this place and you're going to sacrifice. No, situations are different. We understand that on a financial level right now, there are certain people that may not be able to just up and go, but have a relationship with someone like me and someone like you who knows and who have lived here. And I live here now. My moving over here upset a lot of people.
I'm sure.
It made
I'm
people have
sure.
a big gut check. How could you go to a place like that? And I'm showing them what it looks like. I'm telling them I'm the sacrificial lamb for my inner circle. I don't have a savior's complex, but somebody has got to get up and do something. I'm
Definitely.
not some jackleg pastor who's begging you money every single week and telling you something and never bringing a solution to your issues. I'm telling you, it's beautiful here. I'm telling you, you can set up businesses here and do business with the world. The land is inexpensive. Yes, we
Yes.
have people here who are caught up in religion, but they're not evil. Like I made a joke the other day to brother Zamal Tamaray, and I said, well, listen, I don't hate anybody. I understand where we stand, why we stand, and what happened to us as a people. But I said, if any good thing came out of Christianity from what I could see here in Ghana, is that the crime is low. Nobody's shooting, nobody's thieving. They're all scared. I'm not saying everybody in Ghana is scared. Just listen to it, because they're afraid to go to hell.
Correct.
So if anything with Christianity that came out good, it's that. But when you have an oppressor and a thief and a liar and a murderer and a rapist who's around you, whose only activity is death, domination, and destruction all over the world, wherever they go, and they lie to you in these schools of propaganda and indoctrination to tell you that they're the hero riding off into the sunset, that they're the one who civilized you, they're the one who gave you all of this. No, you lied. So we got to really educate our people to the lies and reprogram them. And for some, I'm sorry, some are going to have to expire in their ignorance. It is no time to wait. It is not about the future. Yes, it is, but it's about the now that will create the future.
They were true. Yes. Yes.
Sit back and say one day in the future, No, the future is now. Start making it happen now and continue it with every single day incrementally to make yourself better, and you could never lose.
But for yourself, even the changes that happened once we were in chattel slavery, those changes did not occur overnight. It is a progression.
Right.
Yes, it was incremental in that, like what you were saying, it allowed the people to have a better life, moving and making progressive steps. But of course, it did not happen overnight. The key point is that all of these Western societies have been enriched by free labor. So they look appealing to people who are not truly familiar with what's going on. I did an interview with a colleague of mine the other day, and he was saying, because he's in Ghana now, he's permanently moved to Ghana. He got there, I guess it's been about a week ago. But one of the things he was saying, Lance, is that some of the Ghanaians are saying to him that they want to come to America. Like, why are you coming here? We want to go there. And he's like, no, this is it right here. He's like, we're coming home. This is it right here. And I said to him, Lance, the reason why they think that just as persons in Western societies, the governments and the institutions have lied to us. They told us that Africa was basically nothing but jungles and people were living in squalor. They told the Africans, the indigenous people, that of course, everyone outside of the continent, yes, this is a land of milk and honey, but they didn't tell you all of the trials and tribulations that a person of melanated descent was going to go through. They didn't tell us all of this. So they have in their mind, Lance, these visions of grandeur. No, I'm going to America. I'm going to go to the UK and this, that, and the third. And my contention is always this. You can't say that they are better than where you come. Be a patriot for your own land.
Yes.
See, because that man is a patriot for his country. You should be the same for your country.
That's right.
But it's the optics, like what you were just saying. It is the optics. And now as we move forward, as I said, the resurgence of all of these countries, I mean, from cobalt, platinum, diamonds, manganese, all of this stuff, they're coming and they're taking. They're taking. They are taking.
Yes. And yet
and
and
it
still
could be us with collectivism.
And yet and still many of us who are here who have expressed that thought to me. Why are you here? I've only been here a month and 5 days. and we've covered so much ground in our work, personal and professional, and what we are here for. We're not here to rip off anybody. We're not here to exploit anybody and live well high on the hall while everybody else. That would be to repeat the wickedness of the European and the Chinaman and all those who come here. Because anybody else who's coming here is not coming here, especially those who don't look like us. They're not coming here to uplift us. They're not coming here to help us. They're not coming here to push us up on the world stage and have us to be in equal to deal business fairly with us. They're here to rape what we have. They're here to take, and they're doing it with a smile on the face. And because our minds have been reprogrammed and programmed to think that these are the saviors, that these are nice people, and we shouldn't trust our own sister or brother, that is one of the biggest things that's gonna, when we look back, if we don't do right what's now, what we should be doing now, we're gonna look back and realize that we had a big hand in our re-enslavement on so many different levels, because nobody is our friend. Nobody is telling us. Many people know and they see, but when it comes down to it, what team are you on? Because they're not going to violate and go against code against their team. They can tell you in whispers at the water cooler that this is terrible and I don't think that this is right. They can even go to your protest and they will usually have big glasses on and a big hat and a sign that they hide behind that you can't know who it is, but they'll tell you in the midnight hour, yes, I walked with you and I protested with you, but they're not going to give up the advantages of who they are and the demonic activities that their people do to bring them back wealth and riches and advantage. It's like the old church lady who's always in church 3 and 4 days out the week, bringing her tithe money. And she knows that she's broke and doesn't have much, but she has a son that's out there selling drugs. And when he comes home with the money and he hands it to her, she doesn't refuse it. She takes it silently. And she goes and people wonder, oh, the Lord is blessing you. You have a new TV, a new refrigerator, you remodeled your apartment or your home. He's really blessing you. You understand? But she's getting it that way. And these who don't look like us, they're just like that church woman. They're taking all the proceeds that come for the thievery and the killing and the stealing. But they're smiling with you, telling you that they're against it, but their pockets are full with the wealth that came from our resources.
Of course. Let me ask you this, Lance. Do you think, because one of the items that the lady mentioned in the video as well was that Africa is a continent that has 54 sovereign nations, and they all have a vote at the UN. Why aren't we flexing our power?
We're compromised. You can take that vote, but when politicians the world over campaign and they tell you, and both sides will do this, let me take you to dinner. Let me show you what I can give you if you vote me in. So now it's not about the moral compass or what you're going to do for my people collectively. We start saying, hey, I can benefit from this personally. So now you have turned me into a prostitute, and now I'm going to give you my vote. So what good does the vote mean when it could be so influenced by an outside force, and you don't even care about what this person stands for? You don't care about what they're going to do. You don't care about if they care about you and your people. You only see the now. We only see, because you see, traditionally, Black people the world over have been denied, vilified. They've always yearned for what others have had, but the thing that the other people have has been stolen from them. What are we, look, and there's going to be a time.
That part.
There's going to be a time that they're going to try to muscle up on us. And I'm not trying to say anything that is improper. I'm a very peaceful man, but there's going to come a time where it may be a faction of time and area where it's not going to be peaceful. It's not going to be pretty. Because the rule of the thumb is power has never been given. Historically, nobody who has ruled over a people has said, you know what? I had a dream last night. And I think it's time for us to end this. We have been exploiting you. We have been raping you and robbing you of your resources and treating you bad and putting out bad propaganda on you. And we had that moment where we're going to stop this. No, power has to be taken. And there's so many ways to do so. I'm not just saying, look, you have a right to live. And your life has a mission. It's a component that, whether it's something where your name is out in the lights, or like the example I use, when you have that expensive timepiece and you see the pretty gold lace minute hand, and you see the second hand, and you see that, oh, it's such a pretty Rolex. But what about the gears behind the face of that watch that you don't see? The tiny little gears that look so insignificant, that look like they don't have any say-so in what goes on in the front, that you can see that looks so beautiful. If you remove one of those little gears, that watch is not going to work.
It's not even operational, of course.
So we have to understand how important we are, large and small, that if we move as a unified force, and when I say it may not be so peaceful, yes, we don't want to really face that, but that's an issue, because once they get power from us, they're not going to give it back. But why do we finance our oppressor? Why do we buy his vehicles? Walk, get on a bike. And if we do have a bus that's made by someone else, let's collectively get on there and carpool. Why are we going after their fashion and taking the time and putting their compromised so-called celebrities, which are really propaganda people that we follow behind on reality TV shows, and our reality is going to hell? You talk about how high it is to live in America or the UK. I'm not saying you, but we know that. But why not come out here and get some good land? Not the sand that's in America that can hardly grow anything, in a place where the climate is not conducive to year-round growth. Cash out of that place. It's sad that we have to pay our way out, but cash out one time. Bring your family, unify, and come see what a wonderful life that you can live here and build, not just to live out and that's it, but build.
I totally agree. What industries would you say for diasporans that are coming over would be great for them to, let's say, start off, be collective about it so that we can be successful? Everyone is pooling their resources that they have together. What industries would you say that Black diasporans should invest in as they come over? What
industries shouldn't they bring in? I'm just being funny.
Okay.
Because we have needs. And real businessmen, which I'm a businessman, you're a businesswoman, we all should think. It doesn't mean we have to own a skyscraper with our name on the side of it.
That's
See,
right.
and I'm going to answer the question. I'm just going to go around and come back on it. I see individuals even down by the mall, even down by the Medina market, where they are selling their goods. Even little kids, 10, 11 years old, with a basket on their head full of items to sell, walking down in the intersection. That mindset and unbroken spirit is what's going to do it for us, because they're fulfilling their needs. The unemployment here is low, or nothing, is probably nothing, zero, because we all know that we have value. So you have to know this. So the medical industry, don't we need that? Don't we need hospitals? Don't we need doctors? Not doctors who are going to be in a practice of taking European toxic poison
Say that
to hide the symptom, but we need healers. And we left the healers that are here, the ones who know about the herbs and the roots and the leaves and the bark that Western so-called medicine has studied. And they make a synthetic version of the natural thing that you know nothing of. Even those of us who have a great grandma or grandma, no matter where we come from, if it's the Caribbean or even down in the South, they knew how to go out in the woods and come back with some leaves and some twigs and some roots and know how to boil it and say, come here, baby, that fever you got, take this. And you took it and it was bitter, because it has to be to attack what's in you. So let's take care of our needs. Everything we need, that's the type of business that we need to bring out. And the wonderful thing Not that slavery and doing that to us was a good thing, but it's a thing that could be used against them. You see, in marketing or in business or in anything, even in the sport of boxing, you take what is your disadvantage and make it a strong point in training and come back with it. You study your enemy. You study your competitor. Don't you think
Agreed.
McDonald's is always near Burger King, but they're competitors. But one is watching the other. Oh, okay. They added this to the menu. I got to do that. So everything that you go to the oppressor for that you think you need, you can take care of yourself. And there's one of us, no matter where it is. That's the beautiful part of it. You think you messed us up by taking our name or language or culture and our way of spirituality. But really, you messed yourself up. You didn't mess us up. You spread us all over the world. There's not an area of expertise that we're not in, that we haven't mastered.
Yes, say that.
We're training your people to be our supervisors, and it hurts us. But guess what? When that supervisor that we trained has an issue, they come back to us. What does that tell us? That they need us. We don't need them.
But Lance, that also is showing you that if a mass, like everyone was saying, if they were gonna leave, the U.S., do it before the election, because they fear that the borders are going to close. Okay.
I feel that too, and that's go ahead. I'm sorry.
So if they're doing that, and then people aren't able to get out, I mean, how would you suggest them to maneuver? Now, I said people should have been working on their plans a while ago.
There are going to be some that are caught that won't be able to go, that want to come. It's almost like when you have a schoolyard that is concreted or paved and it rains really bad, and the person who paved it didn't do an excellent job of making it level. And when it rains, you have puddles, but you don't see it. It's one big lake back there, and it begins to dry up, and now it puddles off. And those puddles are going to be separate, but it doesn't mean that our minds can't be unified. Please, if you can, I urge you, if you can physically get over here, if you can squash the beef that you have with your family members, because if you can pull your resources together as a family or an inner circle or people who are enlightened, come on out. It's not as bad as the propaganda made you think it is.
Yes.
I know a young man who came out here with not much. And his first night, he slept under a tree. It was his desire to come out here so intensely, and he's doing very well now. Anybody who has come out here, they are all doing well. Steve Coakley Jr. came out here with $2,800 in his pocket and didn't know where he was going to eat when he got here, didn't know where he was going to sleep. Now he has a thriving business worldwide.
Correct.
He had in his mind, look, we have the seeds of greatness inside of us. Why are we putting it in poor soil? Why are we putting our seeds of greatness around insects that want to bite up the leaves, who want to attack our root? Put your seeds of greatness in good soil. Literally.
Again, they're doing that because of the brain. That's part of the brainwashing, the system. The systems that are put in place.
Right.
Because even with what you're saying too, like you mentioned, that some of the governments, they've been compromised, etc.
Yes.
You know for yourself, when we from the diaspora come, and let's say we have small children, Lance.
Yes.
The school systems are either American based or UK based. And in those systems, they are not telling the truth about what's been going on.
That's what we have to do. That's what my parents did for me.
Yes.
My mother was raised as a Christian, but she was a revolutionary. She taught me about Islam. She taught me about the Rastafarians. She taught me about the 5%ers. They taught me about the Maroons. They taught me about the revolution in Haiti. They taught me about all of these things. So they're being rooted in Christianity. It was only because they were brushing it off. And it never got in them that way. And so this is why homeschooling is very important. Or if you can't afford to do so because of employment, look, we're in the situations that we're in, and we wake up lots of times to find ourselves in a sorry state of affairs. And we go through a period where we say, oh man, I've got to correct this. I was doing this all wrong. I cannot fault you if you're waking up in a situation that needs correction, that most times and most often is not your fault, because you are going along thinking that, okay, I'll send my kids to college and they'll go out and they'll get a profession and they'll get this big home and meet somebody. Look, how many people's lives do you know that went exactly that way of us?
No.
Right?
You're right.
So
You're correct.
So look, some of us are going to want to go and not make it. That's a sad reality. Some of us are not going to have a sense of urgency. I'll go next year and I'll go. We only have today. The borders in Ghana opened up on the 2nd of September.
Correct.
I was flying out on the 15th and got here on the 15th. Seriously, if you go to my channel, Lance Scruv on YouTube, I did a video and I didn't tell the world.
The video on your channel too, yes.
Yes. Look, the last video I did in America was, I forgot how I titled it, but it was basically, sometimes in order to beat the system, you have to leave it. Now I did that video and I was rendering it up. In the last 5 minutes it was rendering, my stuff was packed in the back of a pickup truck. Mr. Scruv's son was driving us and it went up and I went out. When I got here, I made a video, no more stress, right? So I'm calculated. You must plan. You must study. We can't wait for anybody else to do it for us. I'm telling you, not because I'm all that. I was born and raised and lived 38 years in New York City. I'm a super New Yorker. Even all those who are there who just go to work and come home. I've seen it all. And I'm telling you, I have no urge for there or America. The land never did anything to me, but that system that has you working 2 and 3 jobs, that system that has you going home and you feel like you're on a visit, you feel like you're on work release. You get up on the weekend and you should be enjoying yourself, but you've got to do all the chores of the house and turn around tired on a Sunday night saying, I gotta wake up. What kind of living is that? I see sisters and brothers here who are going to soon abandon the beautiful life they had. I did another video by the brothers who had a phone shop where they repair phones.
I saw that one, yes.
The brother who was bringing the shirts, and I was making jokes about the shirts, yes. But I was also in joke form because I use humor as a righteous weapon to unlock the mind. I'm making you laugh, but I'm giving you something. It's like putting sugar in the medicine when you give it to a child. It tastes good, so they take the medicine, right? And I told them, no, you don't want to go to America. And that's my mission. There are people who are connected with us that want me, not that I'm some great speaker, but as a person who came up in that place. I'm telling you, you got it all here. So every industry is an industry that we need here. As long as we are independent of the colonizer, independent of the oppressor, no matter how large or small, we have to have that unbroken spirit of that 10, 11, or 12-year-old boy or girl who is selling stuff out in the street. They're not sitting down and saying, man, there's no job and I ain't going to do this job. They're going out there. They're grown folks who tell you what job they're not going to do. But I have that kind of spirit. Mr. Scruv and Brother Quaker, we have that kind of spirit. If I had to clean
when you have him on, Brother Quaker, yes. I enjoy him. Yes. I really do.
Look, I got a good package deal. When me and Mr. Scruv got married, I got a heck of a brother-in-law as an extra deal. And our lives converged in this way. We never said this is what we're going to do, or we're trying to be this and trying to be that. It's just natural. We share what we talk about. This morning I woke up, Mr. Scruv said, we're going to talk about something. There's something on my mind. I grabbed the microphones. Here they go. I had 2 microphones. In my digital recorder, I walk around like this. I go to the store and have a bag of things. If I'm never going to miss an interview or a way of showing people organically, because it's always spontaneous. It's never going to be where just wait right there. No boxer who's fighting somebody sees the open and says, opponent, freeze right there. Let me just ask my trainer if it's okay to hit you and knock you out. You better seize the moment. When it's there, you seize it. I don't waste 1 minute of any day. After we get off, I'm gonna take another shower and walk up by the anthill and speak about some things that are on my
Yes,
heart.
because that's your spot. That's your spot over there, honey.
Oh, I
That's
love
your spot over
that anthill. Yeah, something about that. There's some kind of deity or something hanging around in there. Sometimes I go up there, I don't even know what to talk
Sometimes
about.
we're comfortable in
Yes.
innocuous places.
Exactly. And after that, we're going to go down to the market. I'm going to get my other little GoPro and I'm going to stick it out the window of the cab. We're going to drive. I'm going to show you life down there again. And when I come back, I got more shows to do later on. Then I'm going to do some other things, enjoy myself, and come right on back. I live this. I didn't come here to just snap a picture under the mango tree and say, no. And we talk to the people. We react to people. We're learning the language. Very soon I'll be able to go and speak the other language and go back and forth. You must show the people here you're coming to be a part of them.
To be a part of the village.
Help them.
I totally agree.
You're not coming with a European mentality. Oh, I don't want to be with those people. I'm only here because the land is cheap. I'm only here because I can pay pennies on the dollar to get them to clean my house. And I'm going to be the pseudo European because I wanted to be him so bad. I'm coming there to exploit the people there. No, I'm coming here to help. I'm coming here to be a part of. I'm coming here to motivate. I'm coming here to be that one who will let them know that Memorandum 46 is the biggest lie ever told. Google it if you don't know about it. Memorandum 46. And the bottom line, that was an intercepted governmental communication in the US, and somebody blew it up, and it stated how they say they do not want diaspora or American black folks to connect with Africans who are born here who don't know the tricks of the devil, because if we come here and let them know, listen, this man is not as cool as he's trying to make you think. And you got everything here. It's game over for them. And because
but
now
you know, Lance, you know that when you keep people ignorant, they cannot cause an uprising.
That's why we got to make them not ignorant. You understand? That's why. That's why. That's simple information and showing and using your life force and dedicating yourself. It's not hard. I'm sweating bullets here. No, I'm good. I'm just saying, I'm enjoying myself. I'm in the heat of the moment because at this particular time, I'm giving off energy that if one person thinks a little more, and I don't know everything, I got to learn from other people. We're doing things constructive. We're trying to build our dwellings and do things on the land and plant and whatever. And it's those who are here who are showing us, and we're vibing with them.
Exactly.
You think we're going downtown in some luxury condo? No, we're going up in the mountains amongst the people. That's what we have to do. There is no ranking European daggone fire with us. We got to stop that. If the weakest link on the chain can't hold on anymore, we're all in trouble.
Agreed.
If there's a chain holding us up, if I'm holding on to this chain and it's connected to the helicopter and it's pulling me off the ground and I ignore that little one link that's falling apart, wherever your weakness is, strengthen it. Don't laugh at it. Don't feel better. Well, I'm better off because I've got this pension and I've got this money. And yes, they're poor and in the dirt and whatever. And don't believe that. Don't believe that about this place. How in the heck can this place be hungry? And this is the food bowl of the world. I drove down the road of the world. I drove 2.5 miles down the road going to the Volta region, and for 2.5 miles, no, sorry, 2.5 hours. And as you're driving, just like when you're in America and you leave the bigger cities, you say, wait a second, look at all this land out here. We're cooped up in the city. And for 2.5 hours driving at a good speed, I saw nothing but mango trees over the horizons, full mangoes this way. I said, man, what a crime that some of these mangoes are going to go to waste. Yeah. We pulled over when we wanted to eat and got the mango, it hit me in the head. I'm like, man, this is heaven. Drop me out here. But yet and still they put the image of, yes, I'm a mango crackhead. Yes, I am. And on my Instagram.
But you're absolutely correct. But again, all of that goes back to the picture that has been painted.
Yes.
And at the same time, if someone really grasped what you just said, you know, Alkebulan being the fruit basket of the world, that is serious. Because all of these nations, they need to feed the people on their lands. Where they get stuff from?
Basic needs. And but see, that's why so many of us in America, and I can speak for that in America because I did 57 years there. See how I speak about it? I did 57 years, 57 and a half years there.
That
Like a
was
prison sentence, because that's what it was. I'm
Exactly.
free now. I'm a veteran of a very long sentence. I was born in prison, but my mind was always free. But look at those commercials, and I always say this, look at those commercials late at night, and you have the hungry, emaciated, a little black child, and the flies are all over their face, and they're looking so hungry, and the ribs are sticking out, and they play that music that's a tearjerker music, and they catch you 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're sitting here saying, man, Africa's a really bad place. And children are looking at this over other places, and they show you in front of the little hut and how hungry they are, and $10, $20 would feed one of these children for a year. Please give. Wait, that's part of the propaganda. That's part of the hustle. Because I found out the Red Cross and these other organizations, the bulk of the money, when you have
feed the children.
No.
Excuse my French, but that's shit show.
No, but exactly. What I'm saying is that the majority of the money are going to the higher ups. Have salaries 400,000, 500,000. And do you think those people who have the cameras in the face of that child who 2 or 3 weeks earlier, they paid the mother and said, listen, we're going to pay you this money. Keep that kid from eating. So they look even worse. They want to enhance it. I'm hearing all kinds of things for the longest time. Do you think they're sleeping out there? Do you think that they're not in a 5-star hotel, eating in a good restaurant, but they go out there and they manipulate the images? Can't we show poor white folks that they call trailer trash, living poor, but they put the image of America they're so wonderful and so affluent and so bountiful, but there's more starving. There's going to be a food shortage in America coming up in the next few months. But we don't know that. But they don't put those images out there. We've seen the media.
It's not only going to be America.
Oh, no, we know that.
All of
that's why they put
themselves superpowers. You know, one of my points I wanted to add, I wanted to touch on was that all of the black diasporans that come back, we have the power to become the superpower right on the continent. Why? You have every natural resource known to man sitting right in the soil. And
let's correct
allowing people to pilferage it.
Let's correct that term. Let China call themselves the superpower. Let Russia call themselves a superpower. Let the diminishing United States with their blown up economy that's about to fall, let them call it, you can call yourself that. But if 54 countries on the continent of Alkebulan, AKA Africa, unify, it'll be the only power.
Agreed.
It'll be the only power.
That's right.
So this is why they must keep us apart, because we will be the only power, and they know this. They benefit from us being apart. Does not the divorce lawyer, benefit from the husband going out and cheating? Does he not benefit from the TV shows that make that wife feel as though the husband's not providing enough and she wants out?
Yeah.
Doesn't the so-called law enforcement system all over the world benefit when you give in to the conditions that they put out there for you to feel as though you have to commit a crime? And they benefit from that. They benefit from it both ways. They get you off the street. They tag you like a pigeon where you can't have a job, which really job is not the best way anyway, but at least temporary until you figure out what you're going to do. They mess them. This thing runs deep. Being around these people is a setup. Mm-hmm. We just don't see it. We are that keeping them in power, even when we're ignorant and we're just feeding into their system, we're keeping them in power. And all we got to do, what if we all decided and said, we're pulling out of this system. We're physically leaving. And if we can't physically leave, we are not supporting your system. We are not going to be forced into lusting after your baubles and rubies and trinkets to go out there and do something bad. Not all of us do because we're bad. No, because of circumstances. Because if every woman and black man were living well, not just money now, because we don't need the physical money. That's the artificial system that has us trapped. But if we take away, look, let me tell you something. Everybody who's watching,
bartering was the first
yes,
economical system.
yes,
I've been saying this. I got a video about it.
Woo.
Yes,
Let me tell you
it
something.
has to be done correctly.
Yes, yes. If I was to take everybody in your crew, your family, your inner circle, and put you up in an airplane and drop you down in the motherland, way out where there was no Walmart, way out where there was no hospital, way out where there was nothing and no money. And money meant nothing because you're not going to walk up to a tree that has mangoes and says, here, I'll give you some money. No. If we were all around each other and we all have our talents and abilities in areas of expertise, we would now see the value in each other. We won't be thinking about money. That man who does construction, it's like my brother, like Brother Quaker was in construction for over 20 years, all right? And he's one of the best that I know, not because he's my brother-in-law, right? If we go to him and say, listen, brother, we need you to build structures for us. Well, he'll turn around and say, well, listen, you're a farmer. I need you to grow the food. See? Now, the older woman who may not have a strong back, but she has lots of wisdom, and she's not physically able to get around, but we need you to watch the kids and teach them what you know. See, now if we pull ourselves out of the system and our lust for the system, our twisted lust for the system, we would see the value in each other. Why can't we see the value in each other right now? And that would make everything that they put on us, I would lust to get a brand new Lexus because my neighbor bought one, but I'm gonna get 1 year newer. Oh, your house is 6 bedrooms. I'm gonna get one for 8, or get one that's 8 bedrooms, and pay somebody else who's laughing at us with their artificial currency, because it's artificial, because we are the real currency. Currency, electrical current, currency, power. We're the power, but we give it up for pennies on the dollar to work on a job while we're hating on our neighbor and our brother and our sister. Disconnected like them old Christmas lights that when you plug it in because it had a short, it blinked when it wanted to. I'm not saying go get Christmas
That's
lights,
true.
Christmas, right?
That's
but I'm
true.
going to
No, that's true. That's true.
Understand.
Well, Les, I want to say thank you for joining me
Thank
for this
you.
candid discussion today. I really appreciate it. I've taken.
Invite me back. I'll talk your ears off. And I enjoyed myself.
Listen, we will do this again. But all of you who are out there and who are going to watch the replay, understand that the race for Africa involves you. You. And our brother here is basically telling you we have got to collectivize, which I have been saying. Granted, my platform is not as large as his, but again, being on the continent before living,
every gear behind the face of
how
the
important it was.
That's why I'm here. Because I can't go higher without you, sister. It's not about numbers, right? And I understand how the social media game works.
Yes.
But I love you righteously, and I love what you're doing, and you're important to me because you are currency to me, and I'm currency to you, and you bring value to my life, and hopefully I can bring value to you. So
all time, I'm always checking you out.
I don't care if you have negative 10 followers, I'm always going to support you, and you'll always have a place to live, and you'll always have a kitchen to eat from. And we're going to build together, and we have to see how important we are to each other, large and small.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Totally agree. Well, you have a good one, and you tell the missus I said hello, and I want to thank you.
Sure will. Thank you so much.
So everyone out there, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you later. Lizzabitty taking you out. Let's go. Okay,
wow.
It's not doing something.
Okay. It's okay. If you need 2 hours, I'll give it to you.
No, I was trying to take us out, and it's just not working for some reason.